Calling the zoning hearing board for Lower Makefield Township to order for October 3rd, 2023. There are 4 members of the board here. So a reminder for everybody that's having appeals tonight that a tie is a default not approved. So just be aware of that. If anybody wants a continuance because of that, please bring it up. All right. First up is Appeal Z23-2019. And while you come forward, Mr. Levine will read in the exhibits.
The only exhibit being marked tonight is A5, the microphone. It was not. The only exhibit being marked tonight is Exhibit A5, which is an amended plan consisting of 2 sheets.
Would you state and spell your full name, please?
Judy Hendrickson, JudyHendrickson.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sir, are you going to testify also?
If necessary.
Would you state and spell your full name?
Kevin Plews, KEVIN,
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and present the additional information.
We're back. Just to reiterate, we're seeking relief from section 223B, increase of impervious coverage. 18% is the maximum allowed. And after a careful survey of the existing footprint and the house in the addition, we were able to determine that the total increase in impervious coverage has gone from 4,225 square feet, which is 17.7%. That's the existing, to 4,583 square foot, which is 19.2. So we've tightened up everything a little bit, but it requires 358 square feet of area to be controlled to mitigate, or 60 cubic feet. We have not reduced our proposed rain garden design of 96 cubic feet to mitigate this. So, and it doesn't, so we don't need to take into account the credit for existing trees. We're already over where we need to be with that existing rain garden design as submitted. The second concern of relief was section 200-22, the decreased side yard setback from the required 15 to 10. After examining the exact footprint of the existing house, the setback request remains the same. In order to accommodate the new garage, we need the clearance of the 24'6" from the corner of the house to the outside of the new garage. And what has changed is a slight decrease in the overall dimensions of the interior of the garage to take into account the setbacks and protrusions of the existing walls and chimney, but it doesn't mitigate, it doesn't change the request for the 10-foot setback. And as stated at the last meeting, the owners have met with their neighbors and have the support for this project. And you should have a letter on file.
Do we? Oh, yeah,
I have a
question from the board. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. You just said the rain garden is 95 feet?
The rain garden, it's it ends up being
On the plan it says 80, not 90. So I might have misheard.
the square feet, cubic feet. It's the rain garden, the impervious breakdown calculation. I've got that right here. It's 96 cubic feet.
Okay, thank you.
It's basically 8 by 10.
Okay. Other questions from the board? Okay. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this here? Okay, anybody online?
There's no public comment online.
No. All right, we'll entertain a motion at this point.
I'm the one making the motion to approve Z 23-2019 as amended with the amended
Well,
plan.
we would say that the increase the variance in the side yard setback to be reduced from 15 feet to 10 feet and to increase the impervious surface to 20.25% to be mitigated back to 17.8% to the with the design of the satisfaction of the township engineer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any discussion? Is there a second? Do you guys hear us online?
Yeah, there you go. I'm just not thrilled about going into the setback.
Second. All right, so what's
Not a problem.
huh?
If there's not a second, then the motion will just
Yeah.
die.
Is
So I
there
guess
any
my-
more discussion? Yeah, go ahead. Discussion.
Yeah,
then.
so I mean, I guess my question there's plenty of space on the lot to do an addition. Why do you have to go into the setback?
It's the width of the garage and, there's an existing driveway coming off the street and it's the width of the garage.
Please speak into the microphone.
Sorry, it's the width of the garage that requires it. We need the 24'6" out to out to be able to fit that in, and that's where we are tight on the site. That is well buffered with the neighbors, and my clients have met with the neighbors and did get a letter of support from them. It backs up to their backyard, and there's a well-established evergreen buffer between the two.
And the reason you can't use the rear yard or stay out of the setback and push it further into the backyard?
Well, we're putting this garage basically on the existing driveway, so we're trying to reduce our impervious. And if we pushed it back, we'd be increasing the impervious coverage. I have the plans here if you want to take a
Well,
look at
you
them.
would pull them up online, but yeah.
Okay.
You want to pull up the amended plan, Jim? Yep. I guess zoom in that area.
Do we have like a Google map or something to show where everything kind of is?
I have a number of photographs on a flash drive, if that helps.
The Google Maps tends to be relatively good. They update a lot these days.
They flew this area last year, so.
If you look at the calculations, you'll see that a large amount of the pavement's being removed for the garage, actually. They're doing it on the existing driveway for the most part.
See that the house next door, it's the rear of their property. They're the corner property there.
Mhm.
Across the street's the school, so no one else is affected.
Discussion, questions?
What's your thought on this, Peter? I'm
My
just thinking
thoughts?
about it. Yeah.
I'm willing to be a second on this. I think that it is for them. They are trying to mitigate the impervious coverage, and I think that they, from the neighbor's perspective, it's in line with the house, so it should be pretty much invisible, even if there wasn't the tree coverage line there.
Yeah.
So
Kind of lines up with the house to the left also. Because if you look at that one to the left, it's basically the same of what they're trying to do here.
Well, it's not quite as big as that one, but
But I mean with the garage,
Very
you know what I mean,
similar.
with how close the garage to that side yard.
correct.
And they do have a nice tree buffer. It isn't, as intrusive as the neighbor's house actually set up is. I would also second.
okay. The third, yeah.
That's enough.
Well, we're discussing it, though. We need to do a vote, though, at this point. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries 3-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Appeal Z 23-2027. Okay. Ron, should we read the exhibits in?
Right, the exhibits that have been marked are Exhibit A1, the application, A2, which are the site plans, A3, which is impervious service breakdown, stormwater management, small project volume control. A4 is photos of the shed and a brochure. B1 has been marked as proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to neighbors.
Okay, can be sworn in.
State your full name, please.
Richard Brogna.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Chair, my notes from the last hearing indicate that this matter was continued for the applicant to discuss with the township the installation of a stormwater management facility that would handle up to 280 square feet of impervious surface coverage. I think that's the only reason it's been continued, to see what he came up with.
Hello.
Hello, yes. So do you want to explain what your plan is here?
Yes, I can, the last time we came, it was 140 square feet that we had to do. Not 280.
Was
The shed's 140 square feet. And I went and talked to Dan at the township office, and he said to dig 2-foot trench deep, 2-foot wide, I think it's 4 feet or 8 feet long. Put the stone in it with the pipe, and on each end have a an inlet. And I said, that's fine. That's what I'll do.
Anybody have a copy of the minutes here from that meeting?
I wrote
There were,
down 280 square feet of impervious, which would have been 46 cubic feet.
Go
And
ahead.
I
Matt.
know I would not have
Matt's
gotten
going.
cubic feet right.
Well, from what, I mean, I was at the meeting myself too, and I talked to the gentleman that usually sits to the left over there. He looks like he's missing tonight, but it's 140 square feet.
That's what you're adding, but the board might have requested that you mitigate more since you were already over. That's why we're trying to source the minutes here.
yeah,
Okay.
my notes were
Mhm.
take it back to the original or move the shed.
Yeah. I think the other objection was it was only 16 inches from the,
Yeah, but he had the 4 foot on the other side.
Other side.
We did talk about
I
that.
remember that part.
Matt, what was that again?
So my notes were that taking it back to the original impervious or looking at moving the shed away from the edge. There was discussion about one side being a little too close for maintenance to occur.
Okay, well, I think we need to have a discussion here then. So pick
So
up
when I
where we
went-
left off.
Can I ask you a question? When I went and saw Dan,
Yep.
he was the one that proposed to me to build it, the drainage system 2 feet wide, 2 feet deep. I think it's 4 feet long or 8 feet long. I'm not sure which one it was. I don't have that piece of paper for some reason on me. He gave me everything I had to do.
Yeah, the system to control that 280 square feet is the 2x4 by, wait, 2x2x8 by 8.
Okay, well then that's fine. I'll do that. If that's what needs to be done.
Okay, I'm open for comment here from the board. Otherwise, I'll ask for public comment.
I am assuming you spoke to your neighbors about it being that close.
I actually talked to them when I put it in. They were fine with where I put it. I asked them specifically, "Are you okay where I'm putting this?" And they said yes.
Matt, Mike, anything?
I thought you were asking for public comment. Sorry.
I will shortly here. Yes. If nobody else, I don't have anything. All right. Is there any public comment in the room? Is there any public comment online?
There's no public comment online.
Okay. Back to the board again then.
I'll make a
Do we have
motion.
the
to
picture of
approve.
this one? Sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to jump on you there.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just look. Do we have the picture of where this was? Wasn't this the one that was in like there was like a corner in
Yes.
the back, like there was a point and it was kind of catty corner across it.
Correct. Yes, that's the one.
So it's too close to the fence, and we're saying, but we're going to remediate the impervious surface. That was the issue, right? It was too close, and it needed some impervious.
Right. Yep.
So we didn't move it, but we're just going to do the impervious.
We're going to do more impervious. We're going to mitigate 280 square feet rather than 140 that was added since it was already over. You want to zoom in? Can you zoom in a little bit more? Ah, that's the issue. Okay.
Yeah, it's aerial to one level.
Okay, well, your turn, Matt.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan subject to mitigation of 280 square feet of impervious. And the bed can stay where it is.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm fine.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Your appeal is approved as just discussed.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
And you?
Next up is Appeal Z23-2032. Come on up, Ed.
Before Mr. Murphy starts, if I may, the last matter, Turchi, council is here. And I did inform him, Mr. McGuigan, that the township is in opposition. We had rough discussions and I think we're going to try to sit and meet
Okay, so
with
you want to
administration. So I believe he wants to ask for a continuance.
Okay, we can mind holding for a second. We'll go over
I always wanted to bump Mr. Murphy anyway.
Appeal Z23- 2028. All right, so rather than going through everything here, do you want to just explain what you would like to do here? And
Good evening, board. Bryce McGuigan from Begley Carlin here on behalf of Richard Turchi regarding the application for 0 Big Oak Road. As Ms. Kirk mentioned earlier, we've had some conversations prior to tonight's hearing, just prior actually, and we learned that the township is in opposition to our project. So in light of that, I think it would be in the best interest of all parties to have a continuance tonight, have some conversations with Ms. Kirk and with the township directly to see if we can make any changes to the scope of the project that might alleviate some concerns that the township has. So in light of that, I would like to request a continuance to the board's one of the board's November agenda dates. I'm not sure which date you're looking at. I know there's an election day in there, but wherever you have availability, we'll be more than happy to accommodate.
I believe at this point, it would be the first, if we're doing the, what depends on the Selco situation, correct?
Yes, which I have not heard back from them. I called last week. From what I heard from our administrator who does the scheduling, the first meeting in November is getting kind of crowded. So I think the second meeting, which is November 21st, would probably work out better. And I know there's a bunch of people here in the audience who are here about this application. So we could send you out notice just as a reminder prior to that meeting. So you should write it down now, but in case you forget, we'll just remind everyone about that. And as we receive new plans on that, we will update all of the neighbors on the discussions and any change in the variance that may be requested.
That sounds great. And I'll be outside too. So if there is any neighbors in attendance tonight and they would like to give me their emails, I will be more than happy to keep them apprised of scheduling and to send PDF copies of any plans and documents submitted to the township as well. Not a problem on my end.
All right, thank you. So you're fine with the 21st as the proposed.
The 21st is wonderful.
All right. Make a motion to continue Appeal Z23-2028 to November 21st.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries and it's now scheduled for the 21st.
And I have no other business, so I'll be leaving.
No. You have to stick around with us.
No.
You really don't have any other business with us on the other ones?
There. I see what you did there.
Peter, I'd like to make a motion to move all of Barbara's.
I thought you had I thought you would have
opposition.
comments on Ed's actually.
There goes all the torches and the pitchforks.
Huh? Well, I think it's kind of critical with the Celco. I mean, it's kind of critical to get this communicated properly because it impacts who even shows up on this side of the bench. What day that is.
Thought you were representing yourself there.
Correct. And I talked to
Your name's Ed Murphy?
talked to Adam yesterday and he doesn't know what the plan is right now. So I left a message for Ken and he hasn't gotten back to me.
Oh, okay. I'll just answer.
Yep.
It actually looks good and busy. You know, they have to.
All right. So now we're on Appeal Z 23-2032. Please read in the exhibits.
The exhibits have been marked are exhibits A1, the application, A2, the site plans consisting of 2 sheets, A3, the April 6, 2010 zoning hearing board decision from appeal number 10-1547. A4 is the January 3rd, 2007 FOF appeal number 06-1405. A5 is the January 3rd, 2007 zoning hearing board decision, appeal number 061405. A6 is the building permit. A7 are a compilation of emails regarding the parking study. A8 is the parking study itself. A9, emails regarding planning commission approval. A10, planning commission approval note for Mr. Majewski. And B1 is proof of publication. B2, proof of posting, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes.
I'm Ed Murphy. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant. With me this evening virtually is Tom Weitzel. Tom is a managing director of Jones Lang LaSalle, who is the leasing agent on behalf of the owner of the building located at 777 Township Line Road. With the board's permission, I think I can provide an executive summary of what is happening here and maybe short circuit the need for further discussion. And then maybe when I'm done, I'll have Tom sworn, and then he can hopefully verify the accuracy of the executive summary I've provided.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to the board?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think everyone here is familiar with the property, which is the subject of the application. I think most people know it by its address, 777 Township Line Road. And most people know it for several reasons. One, it used to be the home of the office of the township solicitor until earlier this summer when that space was vacated by that law firm and they moved to a different space in Floral Vale. The other reason it's well known is because it is the home of the University of Pennsylvania Medical Center, where there is at present 35,000 square feet of lease space in that building occupied by Penn doctors. The total building size is 110,000 square feet. And as Mr. Levin indicated, over the years, the property's been the subject of multiple special exceptions because under your ordinance, a special exception is required when you allocate space in a mixed-use building to a medical use. So, as Mr. Levin indicated, 2 prior zoning hearing board applications granted special exceptions to increase the allowable medical space in the building to what it presently is today. The nature of this application is to seek a further increase in the allowable medical use by an additional 21,000 square feet, which would bring the total in the building up to 56,200 square feet. So just about half of the building would then be devoted to medical use, again, principally Penn doctors. Jim Majewski, as well as the client, have undertaken various studies or evaluations of the adequacy of the parking on site. Today, as it was originally approved, that building is supported by 550 parking spaces, which were built all at once at the time the building was constructed. And I'll defer to Jim for one thing. Our client prepared over the winter and again this summer some parking calcs identifying throughout the course of a week in both February and March and again in August the number of available parking spaces that were located on that 550 parking space field. I don't know if I shared it with Jim. I don't know if he's circulated it to the board. He has?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then I won't I don't know, Michael, did you mark that separately? We should probably mark that just to have it. We can mark it as Exhibit A1 if it's not previously
The
marked.
parking study itself, that was marked as A8. Yeah.
A8, okay. So I think empirically that parking study that was done in both late January and February and again mid-August essentially confirms that the parking spaces were about 45% occupied and the rest of them were not. As the application indicates, in the post-COVID world with all the opportunities and variations for remote work, telehealth meetings and the like, the number or the demand for parking spaces within a mixed-use building such as this has dramatically decreased. So I think the parking counts that we undertook are representative of the situation that exists now. And most recently, last Monday, your planning commission considered the merit of the special exception, which is being requested here this evening. And the planning commission supported that request to reallocate that 21,000 square feet of space for medical use. They did ask, as part of that recommendation, that Jim take a look at what the current Institute of Transportation Engineers manual would otherwise require for parking spaces today, given the mix of uses between 50% general office and 50% medical use. Jim shared with me today, which I believe he's also shared with you, the results of that analysis, which indicate that if everyone had to live by the standard in the current ordinance for parking ratios for medical use and for general office, the 550 spaces that exist today would be 40 spaces short. Why is that? It's because under your ordinance that is probably 25, 30 years old, medical uses require one parking space for every 150 square feet of floor area. That is almost 7 spaces per 1,000. That is crazy high and unrealistic. The ITE trip generation manual that Jim cites in his comparison that I'm sure is marked as probably A9 shows that under today's standards, the number of parking spaces would be in excess, available spaces, even after the reallocation, would be in excess of 180 spaces out of that 550. Jim's memo has attached to it 3 aerial photographs taken in 2020, 22, and 23. All of them show, and Jim has them up there, all of them show what our parking counts indicate, and that is not very many of the spaces of that 550 are being devoted to any use, be it office or medical. And I think for all those reasons, we think the request to reallocate the mix of uses in the building between general office and medical makes sense, aside from the convenience of having medical doctors more available instead of having to schlep into the city or elsewhere to see them. So there has been, and as I think everybody knows, the office space for general office use is in great decline, but the demand for medical space remains good. And none of us want to see unoccupied buildings, especially when we have more than sufficient parking to vote to it, if we even needed it. But we still think, even with the reallocation of space, that we're still way overparked, but everyone, I hope, should feel comforted knowing that we have more than adequate space to devote to a use which is needed, it's practical and available space, and we eliminate having a vacant building or partially vacant building. So I think with that summary, I would perhaps have Mr. Weitzel sworn. Tom, if you would.
State and spell your full name, please.
Tom Weitzel, Tomweitzel.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Tom, would you, you've heard me provide the executive summary of the background of the application and the specific request, right?
Yes.
Did I summarize anything inaccurately, or is there anything else you would add to what I summarized?
No, you summarized it perfectly. I would just add, I have some longstanding context. I've been leasing this building on behalf of the ownership since 2009. So I've seen different markets. We've taken this building to, 100% leased up, lost some tenants when Hart Hanks left, and then released it back up to 100%. So I've seen it fully leased and to a call center at one point. Hart Hanks was essentially running a call center. At no point did we ever even come close to the parking lot being full. It's certainly something as ownership, we take that very serious. We can't have our tenants looking for parking spaces in the building, and so we've never even come close to meeting the demand needs, not being able to meet the demand needs.
And I probably should have asked you to identify your business and how it's come to pass that you are the representative of the owner of the building. And I think you've been the representative of the prior owner of the building as well, not just the current one, right?
That's right. So my company, I work for Jones Lang LaSalle, and we're a commercial real estate services firm. Primarily, we represent either the landlord side or the tenant side of the real estate transaction. We do many other things, but that's primarily our bread and butter. And I have been leasing this building on behalf of the prior owner and now the current owner since 2009.
Okay. Jim's memorandum highlights, for the benefit of the board as well, the provision that allows a reduction in the strict application of the parking ratios when you have a joint use of a building, which we do in this case. And I think as antiquated as the ordinance standards may be, the reference to a joint use and the ability to modify the requirement based on that joint use when you don't have necessarily people coming and going at the same time is prescient, especially since that was put in there quite some time ago. And I think it's even more true today when normal office hours are anything but normal in the post-COVID world. So, you rarely see anymore people coming to work at 9 and leaving at 5. They have all manner of hours and what have you. So I don't think, as Tom indicated, that there's going to be any over demand for the available 550 parking spaces. In fact, I still think there's tremendous number of unused, unnecessary spaces there, but they are what they are. So I think that is the basis for the request for the relief this evening to approve a reallocation of the vacant general office space for 21,000 square feet of medical office space. And I don't have anything else to add.
Questions from the board?
Can you discuss what type of medical space you're looking to convert to? Is this rooms for patients or is it lobby space, or is it lab space, or what? Can you kind of dive into that?
Tom is probably the better person to explain that, but we did submit building plans or tenant fit out plans identifying what the mix of those types of uses that you just mentioned. Tom, you want to sort of run through the breakthrough?
It's all clinical space, meaning patient, either patient exam rooms or some testing area. Nothing, the testing area exists right now. What the expansion here that we would use with this special exception is clinical space. Penn's not going to recreate what they currently have in their current footprint, but they want to add a few exam rooms. And actually what they're primarily trying to do is get the non-clinical functions out of their current space. So patients have a better flow through there. They're in 2 stories right now, the first and second floor. Many of you probably have been in the building. And so that's what they're primarily trying to do. No lab space. Actually, I don't know actually if they do if they send it out for testing, simple blood work or something like that. They may have machines that they do there, but no significant, no experimental or R&D or anything like that. It's all standard clinical space.
Okay. And approximately how many exam rooms do you think you're adding?
We're adding 6. And if you look at the plan submitted and you see the other functions, it really is 88% of the space they're adding is standard office space. There's a staff lounge and accounting, I think, goes on that side. And
yeah, no, I know it was submitted. I'm just trying to get it on the
record. Yeah, no, all right. Understood.
And it's still Penn, correct? I mean, it's the same tenant.
Yeah, we're yes.
So if it's the same tenant, I mean, they know what if they had concerns with the parking, you know what I mean? They wouldn't look to get additional space. So
that's right.
I think they would probably be the best judge of it because they're the ones going to, that see it every single day. If there was concerns, I'm sure that, they would probably look at some other facility.
And they have a 16-year, experience in the building to say if it's ever been a concern. And to your point, it's not.
Yeah. Is there, based upon the changes, is there any needs for additional ADA spaces, or is it primarily the reductions that you're talking about? Or
no need. The entire building's ADA compliant from the access, all of our access points, restrooms, etc. And of course, they're required to build to ADA compliant levels within their footprint. So,
and if I may, Matt, if you look at the aerial photo from 2020 that I have up, you could see back prior to COVID when the parking lot was less than half full. There's a whole bank of ADA spaces in the rear of the building that are unused, in addition to a bunch along the front of the building that are also underutilized. So there's plenty of capacity for American with Disabilities Act handicap accessible spaces.
I just wish there was this much space when I went to the grocery store.
I have no further questions.
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Is there any public comment online?
There's no public comment online.
Okay. So we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
Good. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Next up is Appeal Z23-2016.
I believe that is being continued.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're up to Z23. No, the one with the neighbors is 2028.
Right. Yeah, we went out of order, so 20.
Yeah. This is number 6. This,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
the
this,
Big Oak was the one with all the neighbors. This one
I
is.
did have a chance to speak to Adam Flager, and he had spoken to Mike McGinnis, and they're going to meet with the township to.
So that one's
work out
also
some
going to be
issues.
continued.
That is going to be continued to, I want to say the 21st.
Okay, well, then we need to make a motion on that.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, everybody's got free time tonight.
I thought I was gonna be here till forever.
Huh.
I move that we postpone Z 23-2016 until the second meeting in November, the
Oh, that
21st.
was it November we're supposed to
Yeah.
speak to?
November 21st.
November
Okay.
21st.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. And I was confused because Adam did mention there was a continuance, but when that one popped up here, I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
That change in the order threw me off.
Did
So,
it
yeah,
kinda-
but then I was like, wait, Mike McGinnis, right? Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so if you didn't catch from the discussion here, Selco is currently what's on the agenda for the next meeting, but it's very unclear if that's what's actually going to happen. So if everybody can please stay tuned for what's happening, because I know that what we have on the agenda impacts who can participate. So. And a reminder, if our alternates are listening in, that they definitely need to plan on being here on the 17th.
And hopefully we'll hear shortly from the appellant's attorney to see if they're ready to proceed forward on the 17th or on a later date. And also one other reminder, the first meeting in November, since the election falls on a Tuesday, is on Monday, I believe the 5th.
That sounds right.
Sorry, Monday, the 6th of November.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Everybody have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.